So it's been a while. I wasn't even sure I would record something tonight, but yeah, it feels like it's time. So I've started carrying this tray around. It's not beautiful, but it's just perfect for, you know, my pen pouch that is falling apart because I have too many pens in it, and my journal. So every time, you know, I take it into the dining room, onto the balcony, everywhere I go, because I know that everything I need is on it. I mean, it's only two things, a book and my pen pouch, but somehow it feels like corralled. So I like my new setup. I've actually changed one thing since you last saw it. It's falling apart. That's part of the reason why I'm recording this. But I had my someday maybe section in the middle on an elastic like this, but I just didn't like it because I've got used to having it at the back, and it just makes sense that the thing I reference the least is in the back, and also it's very long term, so it doesn't need to be on an elastic, and because I don't change it out all the time. So I glued it onto the back cover. And I have my morning pages insert and my journaling insert on elastics in the middle. And look, it's just, let's just pull this apart because it doesn't work, because, well, reasons. It's do you really want to hear it? I had wrapped the gaffer around the whole thing, but then when I glued it onto the back cover, I don't know, it came free. It's still a viable option, you know, using the gaffer, but in this case, I guess I didn't do it right. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to change it up anyway. And the reason for that is, I mean, I really love this cover and I don't really want to change it. But the thing is, I'm destroying it because I've started traveling for work, and every time I put it in my bag, these petals fray, and I don't want them to fray. And, you know, I sort of squash it down into the bag and they become not only frayed, but like squashed as well. And I'd like to save whatever's left of this flower, not only because I love gold, but because it feels very symbolic. So when I did this, I also did this, or made this. So it's the same brown velvet, but a different trim, and I have pockets for the covers. So I was thinking maybe pull this apart and put it in this. The problem is that this is just a placeholder, but I think these pockets are a bit wide, like it will move around inside. But I'm thinking maybe this won't be a huge problem if I gaffer it all together first, because if you have several, like if I didn't glue it all together or tape it all together, it would move around more. But when it's one book, one setup, and the edges of it are trapped in these pockets, maybe that makes it work better. I don't know. I don't know anything, ever. All I do on this channel is to try things out. So, I need to have a drink. It's just soda. But it's just so, not hot. I mean, you wouldn't call this weather hot, but I'm just so thirsty all the time. So the whole summer was, well, June was hot, and then July was kind of, and now in August we're back to the hot weather, or warm, and sort of stuffy weather. So, you know, my vacation month was kind of cool and rainy. But it didn't matter because I got a lot of things done, and I don't think, because last year was really hot and we got nothing done, so, you know, there's something to be said for cool weather. So this is so well glued onto the cover that I think I won't try to extract the orange paper. It's also very beautiful, so the color. So I think I will simply cut out the planner book because I'm not using the first few pages anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I have to check to see that I don't do anything foolish. Okay, so when you cut something like this, when you cut the spine off, you have to be sure that you don't damage the spine or the cover, and that you don't damage the sort of the inside, so the signatures and stuff. So you really have to be quite careful. And I'm not very careful, but somehow this usually works out, which I shouldn't say while I'm doing it, because that's like inviting catastrophe. But it seems to be okay. Yes. Now I guess there is a piece of gaffer inside as well, since I know I set it up that way, but no, apparently there's not. So okay, that went well. Now we have this part, and I purposefully didn't use a lot of glue this time, so it's quite easy to pull off. And I am sad to see this go, because it really, I liked, you know, carrying this around and looking important, but never mind. So the question now is, I mean, one version one alternative is to just use some gaffer. It's my religion. To just glue all of this together. I'm not used to talking, apparently. I mean, that would work. And actually, this is a tip, I guess. If you do it like me and use gaffer to bind your stuff, you can glue covers onto, like if you only use this part, you can glue that onto the front and then a separate piece onto the back, like that, and then you keep the gaffer spine visible. I mean, if it's black and you have a black cover, it might look good. Because there's a problem with gaffer. I don't know if I'm the only person to have this problem. Perhaps I'm the only person who with my gaffer religion. But I can't glue things onto gaffer because the glue never dries. It's really weird. But I've noticed it too many times for it to be my imagination. It doesn't stick, it doesn't dry, it's just, it keeps being like sticky glue. It's really weird. So you can't, if you use gaffer, you can't glue a spine onto that. But what you can do is to, like, if you say that you have a nice cover here and on the back, you can, like, for example, I'll just grab something off my desk here, like say that this is the spine. It's too narrow, but never mind. If you glue if you glue it onto whatever kind of cover you have, like if it's paper or fabric or whatever, you glue that bit onto the fabric, say, and then you just leave it unglued over the spine where it's gaffered, and then you glue it onto the back like this. So there's air between the spine and the decoration on the spine, but it holds it together on the edges like that. Yeah, I don't know. I probably no one else does it like this, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, I want to check if it's a good idea to use this cover. And how do I do that? Well, I just try sliding it into the pockets there. And I mean, now it's not one setup, it doesn't keep together, but I can get a feel for whether the spine is broad enough. It kind of is and kind of isn't, I think. It kind of is. Yeah, it works. And I do like this. It's similar to the other cover, it's just that I don't have the flower because it will be destroyed. Okay, so am I deciding... Oh, wait. This is a bit flimsy. This is flimsy and this is flimsy. So together, are they unflimsy? Non-flimsy? Or are they... Because I need some sturdiness to write on. It's not sturdy enough. So I'll grab something else off the desk. Namely this. And I will remove all these post-its. They're here because they're easy to grab from the front. This is a back cover. So if I want to use it, I must remove this. But maybe the pocket. But I can see something over there. Hang on. Oh, that's also a back cover, but it's yeah, okay. So I will remove the pocket. Right, just make a decision. It's not the end of the world. The Leuchtturm destroying channel. It doesn't need to be completely off. I don't know. I just felt like being thorough for once. Okay, so it's a better color as well because this is the June color and this is the August color. I need glue. And of course the glue is downstairs. Or is it? Do I have glue here? No, I don't. Just a minute. Okay, so glue. I'm going to use my usual PVA glue, wood glue, but I wanted to just quickly mention this. Oh, I'm sorry, running up the stairs. Prit. I've fallen in love with this glue. It's really tacky and I don't know. It doesn't, when you use it for paper, it doesn't warp, which it does when you use wood glue. But it's fine for something like this. But Prit is good brand. I've tried several of their glues and they're all good. So now I will be covering up this beautiful page, which is a bit of a shame, but there's no other way to do it. Well, there is. Ha, there actually is. Okay, I can use fabric or a piece of paper like this, you know, to like almost like tape. But this is not a good, this is really lycra rich. So it doesn't glue well, it doesn't really stick. So what else do I have? This is not at all prepared. I don't know if you can tell. I think, let's see. I'm looking for some paper. use. I'm not sure. I'm looking for like autumny colours. Well, this was not what I planned to do. This is kind of nice. Maybe I can do the same thing again, like, because I glued this paper onto the inside cover. Ugh. Because it had fallen apart. So I'm doing the same thing basically again, but I won't use the whole thing. I will, so I don't need to, and I want some of the orange to stick out. Right, so just rip this bit off, almost. I mean, I'm not sorry to see the back go. It's really horrible. This to me is, ugh. I'll need to chop some of it up here as well. By the way, I record these videos with my followers in mind, so if you're new to the channel, sometimes I may come across as really confusing, and I appreciate if you don't understand what I'm doing. But I'm sort of continuing a conversation that's already happening. I'm sorry. So maybe I should try to explain some things now that I think of it. Where to start? I do have a playlist where I explain my entire setup, but I have my planner and my journaling and morning pages and basically everything in my life in the same book or setup. Earlier this year I had everything in the same book. Now I've separated them into, it's kind of a traveler's notebook system, but not quite, because I don't like traveler's notebooks because things move around in them. And yeah, I like the feel of an entire book in my hand, so that's what I'm trying to create. But now with the cover that I'm using, it will be a little more TN-like, since I will put the books or the book collection setup in the pockets. So I'm hoping that will work. And as you can see, I'm now using the Pritt glue instead of the wood glue, since I decided not to glue the cover directly onto the front page, but actually gluing paper onto paper. So I'm using the Pritt because it doesn't warp the paper as much. So something like that, perhaps. This doesn't look good, so I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't really like how this is turning out. I don't like the combination of colours. Or, yeah, colours, yes, okay, but this just looks very random. Like, why is this here? Okay, so now I'm going to remove the gaffer I had on the spine, because I'm going to redo it much the same way. So away with that and that. So I'm going to, let's see, it's a while since I did this, so I'll have to have a little think. My setup has the planner, oops, this should ideally dry before I do anything else, but I'm recording this video and I'm an impatient person, so I'm not going to wait. I am going to put these are, I mean, they're placeholders for themselves, basically, because I need to know the thickness of the spine when all of it is put together, but the gaffer doesn't glue these two inserts in the middle into the setup. They have their own elastics, but I do need them to sort of measure how much gaffer to use. So I'm gonna use black gaffer because it's here. If it had been silver and lying on my desk, I would have used that. So I'm gonna need a pair of scissors, but who knows where they are. Is it the same for you, that scissors just, I mean, people complain about washing machines and socks, but I swear that scissors, something in my house eats scissors. They're never there when you need them, and I know it's my fault. You don't have to come at me in the comments and say that if you have a special place for your scissors you will always find them. Yes, I know, but my desk, look, my desk looks like, let's have a look, like this. There could be a pair of scissors here somewhere. There could not. Who knows? And now let's see if we can get back to where we were. All right, so that's the gaffer done. I can wait with the scissors. Then you need to, because now you have this sticky part in the middle, and you want to, what do you want? I have forgotten, I have to think. Well, this one you want to stick to the spine gaffer, as it were, or the outer gaffer. But then you want another piece to cover the inside so that this isn't sticky, and these two, like, you want them to be like a book, like this. If you don't stick the front book, because the front book for me is quite broad, and if it's not stuck to the gaffer, it flops around a lot, and it's irritating to write in, for me, because I'm trying to avoid it being too much like TN, and this is one aspect of it. Now I'm kind of nervous about this because this is my someday maybe section, which I don't want to rewrite, and I might if I mess it up too much. So maybe it needs a cover as well, so maybe I will use this after all. But I think I will paint it because it's so scuffed and like dirty. It's a colour, it's an impossible colour, isn't it? Pale yellow. This also, adding this cover has the added advantage of making the back book, which is this one, sturdier, which means it will be easier to write in it. Again, I'm using the Prit glue to avoid unnecessary warping. so thirsty. Okay, so now I want to, this is the tricky part, really, because it really is sticky and you don't want the wrong thing to, or the wrong pieces to stick together. So like this, it started to stick to itself, but maybe it's okay. Wait, no, it's not okay. Okay, oh, it's falling apart. Bad gaffer. So I'm folding it down, oh, like that, and because you do want it to stick to itself, because you want to create that spine where the two inserts will go. So you don't want it to be entirely, you know, like there, you don't want these books to be too close together. Maybe they are now. I might have to redo this. Not sure. Let's see how it works when I put these in. I'll just fold this over to make it, just to remove it from the thing. How do I do this? Like that. That's my morning pages. And my journaling insert. Does this work? Oh. Maybe. It's a bit narrow. It's a bit narrow. So maybe this, when you open it up, do you, no, actually maybe, no, it's fine. I think it's fine. Wow, I didn't think it would be. But this is kind of the ultimate test. Does it fit into the cover? There's glue everywhere. How did that happen? I thought I was careful for once. Oh well. How do people do this? Like that, perhaps? Right. Well, this is awful. But it's the journaling insert. It has such bulk because of all these embellishments, and when the spine isn't quite broad enough, it yeah, it becomes a bit wonky. Plus the Someday Maybe insert, the back book, doesn't have a cover, you know, a back cover, so it doesn't fit the same way that the front book does, which also makes the whole thing a bit wonky. Question is, does it matter? Can I use it anyway? Well, I guess I'll see coming few days. I mean, this also I should put something on here. Should I do it now is the question. The follow-up question, maybe. Having trouble with the bottle. I'm just going to put something like this. It looks nice. Ah, why not? I really need those scissors. All right, scissors. This is from a storybook that I bought in a thrift store and thus denied some poor child. And the Wicked Witch of the whatever. But I liked it, and it was Indian, so you know, I couldn't not buy it. And it was written by, let's see if I can pronounce this right, Madhur Jaffrey? No idea. But she's responsible for a cookbook that really shaped my, not childhood, but my teenage years. So that was kind of fun. So I have to cut the picture, but I don't know whether to cut the men or the trees. I do prefer the trees to the men. The thing is, if I cut it, it might unbalance the picture if I remove too much of that man, like that. No, it doesn't. It's fine. I'll remove the man. Who cares? Sometimes when you cut pictures and you don't measure or anything, it can be easier to cut the back if there's writing on it, because you can follow the writing and it becomes fairly straight. Tip of the day. Okay, more Prit. And this, the insert, the journaling insert, and the morning pages insert will be archived when they're completed, and well, in a sort of traveler's notebook style cover with, you know, where I just slide them in under elastics. Like this, I can show you. This, it's currently like a flowish journal where I just keep my papers. But it's made from a wine box, and there are elastics. Where is it? There it is. And right now, as I said, I'm keeping my papers here. But you can also use one of these to archive your inserts, which I'm going to do. And just cut off where the writing is visible. This is a good way to ruin scissors, to cut before the glue has dried. But I'm just that impatient, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see, where are we now? It does kind of annoy me how this, how the spine is it's too narrow, so it doesn't close, and you can see that it's sort of it doesn't go all the way in, as it were. Oh, now I can cut off these at least. The gaffer. Just be careful not to cut the elastics at the same time. But maybe I will use another cover or make another cover. It's a never-ending story. I'm going to try this one. I actually bought one in a thrift store. Wait, it's a Filofax cover. So I'm going to try it. See how it works. Something like that. Oh look, it doesn't, this hasn't dried. That's also the problem. I'm being too impatient. I'll just cut this bit off as well. Because it really does work better if the gaffer really sticks to the front and back book spines. But it wants to come off this wants to sort of not play along. I think this one is too small. It might work, it might. I might have to chop off this again to make it work, but I don't know. That would be too stupid. It's not bad actually, but I have this, I realize now that I have a spine that I've taped to the back here. I don't know if that's a good idea. No, because look, if the spine is too hard and thick, it no, that doesn't work. It comes away from the setup when you open the book. So I know. It's really stuck to the leather. It's probably not leather, is it? Because that leather wouldn't behave this way. So I'm just going to look, it's all coming off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't like this cover anyway, so if I'm going to use it, I will cover it with something else. But I know it looks awful when I destroy things like this. There we go. And into the pocket. At least it's sewn, you know, it's a bought cover where the pockets are sewn onto or into the fabric. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a bit more durable, I think, perhaps. This needs oops. Well, it needs a closure, actually. Because it's so bulky. I'm sort of bummed that the homemade brown velvet thing didn't work. So I'm still sort of, half my brain is still stuck on that and trying to find a way to use it. But it can be used, I can use it to archive inserts in. You can always use covers that didn't work for that. So I don't know, is this it? If it is, I need to do something to make it pretty. And one of those things might be to glue, because I made this other cover that didn't work out because it got too thick, basically. So maybe I can use parts of that and glue that onto this. But if this is too plasticky, it might not stick. But I'm going to find those bits and pieces and have a look. Here it is, crumpled up in a little ball, and I have to have glue on my fingers, so I need to wipe that off before I handle this, because it's so pretty. Oh my god, I really love it. I love this, whatchamacallit, fabric. So I might glue this onto the cover, but now I'm realizing as I wrap this around the whole thing that I could just glue it directly onto the setup. Why do I need this? Well, it's because of the pockets, but I don't really need those. So, I mean, the pockets, the thing with the pockets is that you can quickly change your cover, because you just slide the books into those pockets. If I glue this onto the actual setup, that's more permanent. But as you just saw me do, it's easy to rip off something from a setup like this as well. And this would actually, it's almost too big. That's kind of a problem. Yeah, so maybe that's actually a reason to use the Filofax thing. Okay, I'll put it in the Filofax thing again, and we'll see. The thing is, it might be too, as I said, plasticky, so that if I glue the, this is not a good idea. If I glue the fabric onto it, it might not stick. But on the other hand, I just saw that you can rip the top layer off if you need to. To make it more, easier to. I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I need to. I don't know. Do I try this? Will it look horrible? That's the question. Because it is red on the inside, so it doesn't really fool anyone. But this is the actual cover. I could paint it black or something. I could even, rip these insides off and glue the brown cover onto it. If only the spine was a little bit broader in this one, I could have used it. It would have worked. Because I really, really don't like this cover. I need to do something about it. So, yeah. Back and forth, back and forth. Was it really that bad? I have to check again. This one isn't working. Because I like the inside, I like the outside. Maybe it's fine, you know. Maybe I'll try it this way for a while and just see how we go. This should have a slightly thicker spine as well, or something to wrap around it to make it more sturdy when I want to write. Maybe. So what could I use for that? I don't know yet. It's sort of this one wants to come out. It's a bit irritating. If I open this one up, does it work? Well, it sort of does, but this one, it should have a spine in the back as well to make it. I don't know. I'm starting to get fed up with the whole thing right now. So maybe leave it like that, and maybe it just needs to be, maybe the elastic needs to be tighter. Maybe that's it. But if it's too tight, it will cut into the signature, and that's not good either. I will try to make it tighter and see what happens. Where is the middle? Maybe I should protect this spread with something, maybe with washi tape so that it doesn't, yeah, I think so. Hang on. I'll just because it would be really sad if I destroyed it. So what do I use? Maybe this. This is a picture of me when I'm really tired. I added it specifically because I wanted to be truthful and not, you know, use selfie type images in my journal. I wanted it to be real. So I didn't choose it because I thought I looked good in it. It was actually an image that I sent my husband to show that, you know, this is your wife right now. There. Let's slip it in again and see if that made a difference. Oh. Well, maybe not, because maybe the tape needs to be thicker. But at least, you know, it's something. We'll see. At least I won't be fraying the flower anymore. And I still have a brown book, so